Clifford Edward Ayles, hanged November the 6th, 1956. At 12:34 a.m. on Tuesday, November the 6th, 1956, Clifford Edward Ayles, 26, was hanged at the St. John County Jail in St. John, New Brunswick, for the stabbing death of 47-year-old David Allison Graves, a disabled ambulance driver employed by the St. John Tuberculosis Hospital. Ayles was pronounced dead at 12:55 a.m. as a crowd of around 150 waited outside for the posting of the death notice. The condemned man, who refused a sedative, maintained his composure to the end. He had no last words. The unidentified hangman was from Montreal. On October the 20th, 1955, outside of Watson's drugstore on Charlotte Street in St. John, Ayles, who was armed with a revolver, entered a panel truck bearing the payroll for the Tuberculosis Hospital, where he had once been a patient. The robber forced Graves to drive to Simon's Parish outside the city before shooting the van's passenger, 65-year-old Harold W. Cunningham, in the back of the head. He then stabbed Graves 16 times before fleeing with $11,150 in cash and bonds. Graves would die of his injuries, but Cunningham survived and later testified against Ayles. Ayles was tracked to Phoenix, Arizona, where he was arrested in a tavern on December the 3rd. Returned to Canada after a lengthy extradition battle, he was convicted of Graves' murder on June the 30th, 1956. The jury gave no recommendation for mercy. Ayles appears to have been a smart man, but a poor criminal. He studied engineering at 3 maritime universities until tuberculosis forced him to drop out. His brother, Louis, who was a lawyer, served as a member of the New Brunswick Legislative Assembly from 1967 to 70. Ayles is buried in Holy Family Cemetery in Bathurst, New Brunswick. The primary source for today's video was the account of Ayles' execution, which appeared in the Quebec Chronicle-Telegraph for November the 6th, 1956. Another important source was a brief account of the case published by the University of New Brunswick. All other sources are listed in the description. I hope you will consider subscribing to The Gallows, where we explore Canadian murder cases which ended on the scaffold. And remember, if you're born to hang, you'll never be shot.